Okay, so good morning friends, and we'll start with next sum, that is question number 5. Okay, so format is ready, we can start. The question says he had joined the employer on 1st July 2019, and ordinarily his salary will be for 9 months, 1st July onwards till 31st March 20. But there is a specific information in the question salary for the month is due and payable on 5th day of the next month. So what does it mean? The salary for the month of March will not be payable or accrued or due on 31st of March. It will accrue on 5th day of April. With this situation, if you go back to provisions of section 15, it says what is a salary? Salary means salary which is either accrued or due or payable to the employee or paid to the employee during the previous year. That's a provision of section 15 when we go back to the scope of income. Now for the month of March, the salary has not accrued. It will be accrued and become payable. It will become due only on 5th day of April, that is next month. There is a typical case of contract of employment. So it does not accrue on 31st March. It is not paid on 31st March. So how do we include the salary for March in this financial year? It will not be possible. It will go to the next financial year. So this is a typical case where salary for the month of March is not included in this financial year because of a overriding clause in the contract of employment, which says that the salary will be due and payable on the 5th day of the subsequent month. Okay, so though ordinarily you would have taken 9 months salary, typically in this case we will take only 8 months salary excluding the month of March. Are you clear about this logic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us take the salary elements accordingly. Basic salary for 8 months, 4 lakhs rupees. Same is the case with dearness allowance. Same is the case with other allowances. And same is the case with perquisite value of car also. This is a perquisite, but that will be added to his salary. He is provided with the car maybe for personal and official use, and therefore we have to include the perquisite value of salary in this particular case. So 80,000 is the perquisite value of car. Any difficulty till now in computation of salary? The only different point was the accrual of salary not happening on the last day of the month. That was the only change in this case. Otherwise, it was a pretty simple calculation. So we have included everything: basic, dearness allowance, other allowances, house rent allowance, and perquisite value of car. So let us total up. This is your gross salary. Deductions, and we will have 2 deductions. One is standard deduction and another one is profession tax. I just copy. Standard deduction and profession tax. There will be 2 deductions. Standard deduction is 50,000. Profession tax is 200 per month, so it would have been 1,600. Again, you have to calculate for 8 months. So if you take the total, it's 51,600, and actual salary is finally 10,68,400. This is the taxable salary. Any difficulty in this computation of taxable salary?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, there are 2 house properties, okay, and both the house properties are self-occupied. Now, as per the provisions of tax, if you have a self-occupied property, the value of such property, the gross annual value, is taken as nil for taxation. But this benefit is given only for one property. It is not extended across all the properties. The benefit is available only for one of the properties which are used by the SEC for self-occupation. So that means we have to decide between house 1 and house 2, HP1 and HP2, which one should be considered as a self-occupied property. Once you decide, once you make that exercise, once you exercise that particular option, the other property is known as deemed to be let out property, and the income from that property will be computed as if the property is let out. So while making the choice, what the SEC usually should think of? See, usually the property with the higher annual value should be preferred as a self-occupied property, and the property with the lower annual value should be considered as deemed to be let out property. This is a very standard yardstick which is applied in most of the cases. The property with the higher gross annual value should be selected as a self-occupied, and the property with the lower annual value should be taken as a deemed to be let out property. Now, why such a logic? The reason is the property which has a higher annual value, gross annual value, if you consider that as a self-occupied property, the annual value becomes nil. And if the property with the lower annual value is treated as deemed to be let out property, you will be able to offer lesser amount of income for tax. So that is the logic. And therefore, the property with the higher annual value is preferred as SOP, self-occupied property. Property with the lower annual value is usually offered to tax as deemed to be let out property. So for making the choice, you have to compare these two properties now. Property 1, municipal value is 60,000, fair rent is 1,20,000. So whichever is higher is gross annual value. So here your gross annual value is 1,20,000 for this property. Okay. And for a second property, the gross annual value is 2,40,000. For the next property, the gross annual value is 2,40,000. Why 2,40,000? Because municipal value is 72,000 and fair rent is 2,40,000. So is HP1 having more annual value or HP2 having more annual value? Which annual value is more? Gross annual value is more? HP1 or HP2? Yes. What is the annual value of HP1? It is 1,20,000. Annual value of HP2 is 2,40,000. So HP2 has a more annual value, has a higher annual value compared to HP1. So it makes sense to say that HP2 will be self-occupied and HP1 will be deemed to be let out property, and accordingly the income will be offered for tax. Is the logic clear to everyone? What we are discussing, what we are doing for house property income? Yes? Is it clear? Okay.
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let us work on this now. So next head of income. Okay. So HP1. To be laid out. In bracket, I will write the justification. So these two properties, gross annual value is 1,20,000. This is the gross annual value of this property. Okay. From this, we have to deduct municipal tax paid. So this is given that 4,000 is the tax paid. We get what is called as net annual value of the property. Net annual value of the property is 1,16,000. Less one deduction we have 30% of. We don't have any loan here. Okay, there is no home loan. So only 30% of NAV is a permissible deduction. So income from HP1 is so much. Income from HP1 is 81,200. 1,20,000 is a gross annual value, which is higher of fair rent and municipal value. So higher of them is taken as gross annual value. Municipal tax paid is 4,000 as a deduction. And then we claim the deductions under section 24. There is no home loan interest. So only deduction available is 30% of net annual value. So 34,800 is a deduction, standard deduction, and income from HP1 is 81,200. Now, in the same fashion, we have to calculate HP2. Okay. We have decided that we will designate HP2. We will exercise the option and designate HP2 as a self-occupied property. So once you say gross annual value of this property will be nil. Once you say so, the gross annual value will be nil. Okay. So self-occupied property gross annual value is always nil. Then we cannot claim deduction for municipal tax. That is not permissible for self-occupied property. We can claim only interest on home loan, which is 60,000. That is the only deduction available. So less interest on home loan, which is 60,000. So this property will result in a loss. It's a negative income. This is income from HP. Okay. So income from house property. One plus HP. Both together. So 81,200 is a positive income and 60,000 is a loss or negative income. So if you pull up, it becomes 21,200. And we already have the salary income. So taxable salary and this income. This is your gross total income. Gross total income of the ICC is 10,89,600. Is it clear to everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this case, we had two house properties and both house properties were meant for self-occupation. If this is the case, then SEC has to decide and take one property as a self-occupied. The choice is with the SEC. SEC can make a choice, and while doing so, what parameter you will use? Generally, the property with the higher annual value is a self-occupied property. Like in this case, we have done that, and the property with the lower annual value is considered as deemed to be let out property. And the logic is clear. When you say the property is deemed to be let out, you will have to offer annual value for tax, and it will be liable for tax as if the property is actually let out. Whereas once you call a particular property as a self-occupied property, then the annual value automatically becomes nil, and then you can claim the deduction for home loan. There are no other deductions, but you can claim the deduction for home loan. So this many a times is beneficial to the SEC. The approach we discussed, the selection of property methodology we discussed is usually beneficial for the SEC to reduce his tax liabilities. Okay, and this is perfectly legal. This is perfectly within four corners of law, because the law permits you to decide which property you will take as SOP and which one you want to offer for tax as deemed to be let out property. Any more questions on this? Yes. Any more clarity on HP1, HP2, income of DLOP or income of self-occupied property? Both the issues are clear to everyone? Okay. So now we have one more sum. Let's start discussing that. And this actually you will be trying to do. That's what we had discussed just now. Okay. Let me just explain a couple of things here and then you can try out this sum. It says Mr. F has given following details of his income. He is working with Y Limited and received salary as follows. You are given his net salary, and we have earlier discussed if the net salary is given, how do we address the situation and how do we compute the taxable income, because you are given the net salary by in the question itself. So we have to work on that. Then you are also having two properties. One of them is a self-occupied and the other one is a laid out property. Okay. So you know how to compute the income of a self-occupied property. You know how to compute the income of a laid out property also, right? So in this case, you have to find out what is the income from self-occupied property and what is the income from laid out property. I'll give you a hint and you can think about it when you do the solution. This laid out property is going to have some loss. Okay. SOP will also have some loss, but the major loss will come from a laid out property. So how do we deal with that loss? That is a major issue that we need to sort out in this sum. But only when you have the income from HP1 and HP2 ready, we can discuss on this particular issue. So will you try this now? Yes, I will close the display. I will not keep the display on. Will you try this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will keep the recording on. Okay. So afterwards you can always watch video how the solution is worked out. Simultaneously I will work out, but I will switch off the display. Okay. Just a minute, and then you can start. Okay. You can start now. Simultaneously I will also work out the income details here. Hello, all of you are ready with the solution?
Sir, 2 minutes.
Yes. Okay, सैलरी इनकम तक हुआ क्या?
हाँ सर.
सैलरी कितना आ गया? टैक्सेबल सैलरी? How much is the taxable salary?
7,61,000 sir.
Yes. What is the amount of taxable salary?
7,61,000.
7 lakhs?
61,000.
761. कैसे आ गया 7,61,000?
8,35,600.
हाँ, कैसे आ गया 835,600? Okay, let me share the solution now. If you are partly done that, okay, I'll share the screen now. Firstly, we'll have to compute it. Is the screen visible now? Hello? Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir, yes.
Okay. So you are given is net salary, and we are trying to derive gross salary from that. How do we? 67 plus income tax 1,000 plus recovery of loan rupees. How much it comes to per month gross? 79,400 or something. 67 plus 370, 73, 74. Yes, 74,200. Correct है. Multiplied by 12, right? कितना होता है? Yes. How much it comes to? 67,000 plus 200 plus 3,000 plus 1,000 plus 3,000. The whole thing multiplied by 12. Is it coming to 8,90,400? Yes. Are you getting gross salary of 8,90,400? नहीं आ रहा है?
हाँ सर, आ गए.
Okay. So 8,90,400 is gross salary. He will claim standard deduction of 50,000 or profession tax 200 rupees per month is deducted. So 2,400 profession tax. So total deduction is 52,400. So 8,90,400 minus 52,400. His taxable salary is 8,38,000. Okay. Where did you make a mistake? What was the error you had done in the solution? पता चला?
सर हाँ सर, पता चला सर. सर सिर्फ वो मैंने
What about others? Others are getting. हाँ बोल क्या किया था?
सर मैं गलती से वो नेट सैलरी एंड प्रोफेशन टैक्स को ही कैलकुलेट किया था. बाकी का सर मैंने 12 से मल्टीप्लाई नहीं किया था.
हाँ, no, you have to take everything. Na? See, all deductions are per month basis, so you have to add back everything. Okay, everything is per month basis, na? So you have to add back everything.
Yes sir.
ठीक है. So taxable salary is 8,38,400. I hope all others also would have got it by now with this discussion. Now, house property is relatively simple, but there is one major issue. So I will explain that issue, and then we will close this session or this sum. HP1 is a SOP. Okay, clearly given. एक SOP है, एक LOP है. Okay. Self-occupied property का very simple, because your annual value is nil. There is only one deduction for home loan, which is 12,000 rupees. So this HP1 will have a loss of 12,000. HP2 is a let out property. Municipal value is 60,000. Rent received is 72,000. So rent received will be gross annual value. It is higher than the municipal valuation. So 72,000 is the rent received, which becomes your annual value of the property. You have paid taxes for 2 years, 1920, the current financial year, and 2021, the next financial year, irrespective of the period. Okay, If it is paid during the previous year, we can claim a deduction. So our deduction is 7,000. So net annual value is 65,000. 72,000 minus municipal tax paid. NAV is 65. From NAV, we can claim two deductions. One is 30% of NAV, which comes to 19,500. And the second one is interest, which is given, home loan interest. It is 320,000. Now, when you claim these two deductions, this property also has a loss of 2,74,500. So HP1 is also a loss, HP2 is also a loss. Okay. Now, if you aggregate these losses and if it is put together, then HP1 plus 2, the total loss under the head income from house property is 2,86,500. Now, when you have a loss of 2,86,500, this loss is comprising of interest only. Okay, there is nothing else that has caused a loss. It is purely the loss related to interest. And there is a provision in the law which says that if loss is more than 2 lakhs, then you have to restrict this loss to 2 lakh rupees for the current year. So out of 2,86,500, only loss of 2 lakhs will be available and adjusted against any other head of income. So we have salary income. So up to 2 lakh rupees, this loss can be adjusted against salary income. What happens to balance 86,500? It is allowed to be carried forward to the next year. Next year, you can claim the set off of this. So to put it in simple words now, suppose you have income from house property, which is a loss. If it is less than 2 lakhs, there is no limitation. If it is more than 2 lakhs, then only up to 2 lakhs you can set off in the current year, and the remaining amount has to be carried forward to the next year. So in this case, only this 2 lakh rupees is available for set off. So salary income is 8,38,000 minus this loss of 2 lakhs. Your gross total income will be 6,38,000 rupees. So SOP and LOP, both computations you have to make as per the given details. When you compute the income, both the properties have resulted into a loss. When you sum up the loss, the total loss is 2,86,500. But out of this 2,86,500, you cannot set off the full amount against salary income. The limitation will apply and it will be available for set off only to the extent of 2 lakh rupees in the current year. And the remaining amount of 86,500, the amount of loss, has to be carried forward to the next year. So income from house property, the gross total income rather is 6,38,000 after you set off this loss against the income from salary. Are you clear about this limitation part, 2 lakh rupees? Yes. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other difficulty in this sum?
No, sir.
So, can we conclude for the day then? Both the sums are over. Second sum is also concluded now. Can we wind up for the day, or is there anything that needs clarification? Yes, shall we wind up the session? Okay, I'll stop the recording. I have to download the attendance. Please wait. Let me first conclude the recording.